Here's your ticket. We're getting on the hype train today. This is not clickbait. This is truly a fragrance that not many people, if not really anybody, is talking about in the fragrance community. A fragrance that I genuinely feel is going to be absolutely loved and adored by some of you. For some of you, this will legitimately be the full fragrance that you've been looking for. It's not from a designer, a big designer house, or in particular a niche house. It's very reasonably priced. It's a fragrance that I have been talking about for on and off for a couple of years, but now I really want to put it into the spotlight. So here's the thing. Would you like a brand new fall autumn signature scent? Do you like fragrances that have a bit of sweetness, but not too sweet? Do you want something that has a bit of sandiness, some solid masculinity, and not just that, but you like the note of tobacco, but nothing too insane, nothing too crazy, just something nice, visceral and masculine? And do you want a true, genuine, hidden gem? Fragrance that really not a lot of people are talking about. It's from the house of Robert Graham. This is Fortitude. First thing I want to do is I want to apologise to Chris from Fragmental for recommending Geeky by Slumber House, because it is unfortunately very, very difficult to get hold of, especially here in the United Kingdom. The person that owns and runs Slumber House can be a little bit unpredictable, and sometimes his fragrances are very readily available, sometimes they aren't. So Chris, I would like to change my recommendation to you, and also people like Mr. Smelly, who are watching, a lot of my fellow British fragrance YouTube reviewers who love those sort of older, woodier fougères. I would totally recommend this to you as well. This is my hype train at the moment. This is the fragrance that I'm going to push you out there to check out. There are some very good reasons for it, and I think that for some of you, as I said, some of you, this may not necessarily be what you're looking for, but truly some of you out there, you're going to sample this or you're going to smell this and you're going to go, this is what I've been looking for. If you want something that's woody and slightly sweet, but also is in the fougère territory, which is a very, very rare combination of genres to go for, this could be something for you. But what this is really for is that this is for men who are looking right now for a brand new signature scent, something that you can wear every single day, something that can define you, something that you want, that will get you a good amount of compliments, something that you can wear very easily, something that's going to be able to tackle the fall cold and the cooler weather, something that's going to warm you up, and something that also has a lot of balance, whether it be in the sweet department or in the more darker, woodier leather department. If you want something that's in between, that's riding the line of those two spectrums, honestly, this is what you've got to go for. On Fragrantica, there's only 3 notes listed here: tobacco, patchouli and tonka bean. And I think that tells sort of most of the story here, but there is a lot kind of going on. But if you do like tobacco, you've got to try this. If you do like sweeter tonka bean fragrance as well, but you don't want something that's too designery and too sweet, you actually are more interested in something a little bit more sandier and refined, got to check this out. And if you do enjoy patchouli, and you enjoy patchouli when it has a bit of sweetness in it, you've got to try this as well. This is a recommendation that I can truly say that many of you will enjoy. I'm surprised that this has kind of got away from the hype train in Fragcom, because I truly think that this is something that deserves quite a bit of hype. Let's get to the presentation. A wonderful, lovely bottle, quite unique. The thing that has irritated me slightly is that if you actually Google this thing usually has horns, and I kind of wanted that, but part of me also thinks that it's a little bit tacky. It's got cogs, like from a clock, on the cap. Really, really good looking cap as well. Fabulous bottle design, and there's even almost like a sort of paisley design that's going on, that's ringing through here. So it's a really, really gorgeous and unique bottle. The cap is a little bit awkward, just want to pre-warn you, you have to sort of turn it and then it just clicks into place like that. So there you go. So lovely bottle design, very secure, just very interesting, very neat bottle. Of course the Robert Graham bottles all look the same, but I think it's absolutely wonderful. I think that I actually sort of prefer the fact that I don't have the tusks, but I don't know, I kind of would have liked them. But it's a nice looking bottle. it's a straightforward looking bottle design whilst at the same time having its own uniqueness as well. I'm going to give the bottle design a solid, straightforward 4 out of 5. But then we get to the scent. I did a indie spotlight on this fragrance, I think it was last year, and I talked about how this fragrance reminded me of Egypt because it has a sandy tone to it. My opinion has evolved over the year, and I actually can really get a nice tobacco sweetness here as well. One of the comments on Fragrantica really hit with me, and that was that this has some sort of similarities to Le Mal by Jean-Paul Gaultier, but don't freak out. There's not really any vanilla sweetness here, there's certainly not really any mint that I can detect, but there is something compositionally that reminds me, and has apparently reminded other people, of the warmth and almost the herbal nature of Le Mal, the wearability of Le Mal. There is compositional similarities, but instead of, say, vanilla and mint, it's more like Tonka Bean and Patchouli that is creating that similarity. So it's almost the same notes but played in a different genre and maybe even on a different instrument. It's very unusual. It's quite bizarre. I've never experienced a fragrance where I've thought, you know what, this reminds me of something. It's like it's got a similar sort of vibe and it's kind of like a similar smell. But when I try to pinpoint what it is that reminds me of it, I can't quite put my finger on it. For that alone, this is an intriguing fragrance release. So, for you, Chris, I know that this would be something that would intrigue you because it's got this similarity sort of with Le Mal, which I know that you love, but it's also got some really heady and nice herbal tobacco in here that really raises the age range. So for you, Chris, I think that you're going to absolutely adore it, and this would be my formal recommendation for you. You better have this by the next time that I see you. Hey, I just bought Galloway by Parfums de Marly, so call this even. So as we spray this on, yes, there is that sandy spiciness with patchouli that's really clear-cut and fantastic. But around it, there really is a lot of sweetness, and there is a lovely amount of just herbal, breathy tobacco. So it's not in your face like this incense stick. It's not totally smoky, but it's there. It's so fascinating because it is tobacco and it's herbal tobacco, but it's rich as well. Rich and aerated and herbal, and it's gorgeous. In the bottom, there is that solid, sweet tonka bean that's just keeping everything level. So what you have here is something fantastic, something that is wearable, masculine, casual, not necessarily formal. The tonka bean sweetness helps there, but it could be worn in a suit. It could be worn to a formal occasion. There's a lot of range here with this fragrance. But ultimately, what you're going to get is this lovely tonka bean sweetness, really sophisticated patchouli, and then that lovely, full, rich, aerated tobacco that's just a pleasure to wear, has a sophistication, has a masculinity, should I say, has a dominance, has a confidence, has a strength that's in here, but never too over the top, never too bold. This deserves so much more attention, it deserves so much more hype. This is not a child's fragrance, this is not a juvenile young person's fragrance. This is a fragrance for most adult men who just want something casually to wear that doesn't make too much of a statement, but is completely solid in what it's trying to achieve. But there isn't really a synthetic bone in this composition's body. I'm not struggling with anything. It just smells very natural, very genuine, and just gorgeous. I'm very excited to present this to you. Scent-wise, and truly solid 5 out of 5. Performance is odd because for me, I would say overall, it's not where I would want it to be. I actually thought that it was along the lines of 3 out of 5. But many Fragrantica reviews say that this is a very domineering, it's a very beast mode fragrance, and quite a few people have said it, far more than I actually thought that it was going to be. I actually bought this in Harvey Nichols in store, so this is as retail can get. This is of course exclusively available in Harvey Nichols, but it's also available online, some discounters also for a pretty reasonable price. I would say that one of the problems is it is quite linear. After about 3 hours, it's pretty much the same as the opening, so there could be some olfactory fatigue. I could just be getting used to it very, very quickly. So I'm going to say that for me, projection is about 3.5, pushing 4. People around me have commented on this, people have smelt it, so it's probably projecting more than I think it is, which can be a problem. That's why you need to test out with other people around you. And as for longevity, I'm going to say safely a 4. 8 to 10 hours, definitely. Overall, this has been a genuinely wonderful hidden gem that I've had in my collection. I've hinted at it with putting it on certain lists, and especially on the fall autumn list, but I'm now bringing it full to the attention of you. I really genuinely recommend this, and if you are a gentleman out there who's looking for a new signature scent but you don't want to spend too much money on a fragrance, but you want to spend enough, this is about £100 by the way, sometimes less on certain discounters for 100ml. If you want a true wonderful autumn signature scent, if you like a bit of sweetness but you like a bit of tobacco, and you like fougères as well, and you want something just a bit unique and a bit out of the way, honestly, try Fortitude by Robert Graham. With the disparaging things about the performance, I'm not going to have this as a complete 5 out of 5, and just certain things like I wish it would maybe not be as linear as it is, but it's definitely fantastic and solid, and what really gives it that extra detail is the fact that not many people are talking about it. Check this out. Overall, a 4 out of 5. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe and that notification bell, and leave a lovely comment. Have you smelt Fortitude by Robert Graham, or the other 2 Robert Graham fragrances that are out there? Love to know your thoughts down below in the comments. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Press. I'll see you soon.